This is Pod Populi.
Podcast for the people.
The Great Love Debate. It's the Great Love Debate.
The Great Love Debate. It's the Great Love Debate.
Hi again, everyone. It's Brian Howie. Welcome to the Great Love Debate, the world's #1 dating and relationship podcast. Since 2015, I am back here in the very fine studios of Pod Populi, Podcast for the People. I'm back at the one in Scottsdale, Arizona, and the weather is lovely. You get about 8 months of lovely from the time I record this, then you're home free. So if you want to book somewhere, Scottsdale, Arizona. Speaking of booking somewhere, so I was on a train the other day, a trolley, a light rail, one of those airport things. They always seem like they're driverless and like they're going to go off the rails and too crowded and whatever. That's a different podcast though. So, and I heard a guy on the train very loudly said to a woman he was with, he said, "I think I deserve better." And she answered him with, "You don't deserve shit." And it was like a whole thing on this very crowded train. And I'm not sure if they were heading out on a trip because I was like between terminals. I wasn't sure if they were about to go somewhere or they were coming somewhere and heading to baggage claim. And I was trying to think of like which would be worse of those scenarios. I think the former would be worse because the trip could probably calm the argument. So I'm like, you guys fought and then you went on a trip and gone. If you just went on a trip and then you're fighting after, maybe that spoiled the trip. But then I'm thinking like, well, maybe at least you got a trip out of it. And there's a whole thing. So I probably overthought this thing for that purpose. You know, before you told everybody to fuck off, you had a good time in Hawaii. I don't know. But it triggered something in me and I focused on that word that he used and he said deserve. He said, "I think I deserve better." And I thought about deserve, and that's always a third rail when you bring up a word like that, you know, because there's elements of merit and there's elements of earning and there's elements of need. So I put out a APB on our socials right after that to see if anybody had any thoughts on deserve and ask for our listeners to talk about what they think they deserve or have deserved either in a current relationship or a future relationship, rightly or wrongly, whether it is earned or entitled. And this could, like I said, could be from in a perfect scenario or it could be in their current scenario. And you guys actually answered a lot. You were like, "I deserve this," not need, not want, deserve. And when you bring that word up to a partner sometimes or a potential partner, it's obviously fraught with peril doing so because the circumstance in which you use the word deserve is generally a heated one. It's "I deserve this, this, and this," and it never tends to go well. So we're going to take the time to hear you guys out on it, sort of the calm before the storm on the elements of deserving. So I brought in some pros. I'm not sure exactly they're going to be like, wait, why are we pros on the deserve thing? Maybe on the quid pro quo. They are the host and co-hostess of the very, very popular Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. They've been on this before, not in a while, but he always comes with wisdom and reason, and so does she. Marcus and Lily, welcome back.
This is actually my first time.
Oh, it is your first time?
On yours, yeah.
Yeah, we had a different.
Oh, I've been on yours. I had a different.
We had different co-hosts that joined you.
That's so sad. This is your Great Love Debate virginity tour here.
Yeah.
What do you think? So.
I do have a lot to say about this.
I know.
subject.
Well, you listen to your part. There's a lot of like, I give this, I want this back. There's a lot of negotiating. Can I refer to it as your world in the sugar world? Is that what it's called? Sugar world sounds a lot like the Barbie world, but there's obviously some honest discussion up front about it, and that's about like earned and merit. But does the word deserve come up?
I'll tell you what, the word deserve is thrown around haphazardly. And I'm just of the opinion, if you think you deserve something, you've got to show me why. And if you don't think you're getting what you deserve, you need to go get what you deserve.
And deserve is very subjective. And the other person might have no idea how to differentiate from need, want, merit, right?
Agreed. I think I deserve a raise.
Okay.
I think so too.
This is not the time or place.
That's a good conversation. I think I deserve a raise.
I actually recently got a raise. My boss is really generous.
Yeah, I think I deserve a raise. A lot of people come into that I've had those conversations many, many times, and somebody comes into me and they're like, I think I deserve a raise. And usually the deserve is based on some clock of time they put in and not actually any sort of achievement or merit within the performance. They're just like, well, I've been here 12 months. I think I deserve something.
Oh, the fact that they put up with you that long.
True. And then they could make that argument like, I have merited this. So we're going to be able to weave in and out of our own personal thoughts on this, but we got a half dozen that I thought were pretty good sent in via both email and our social media that I thought were good. And I think we're going to be able to explore some of these. As always, we picked 3 from the men and 3 from the women because we want to balance it out here. So the first one is from Ben from Huntington Beach, Surf City. There you go. And I quote, if we have been together for a while and I'm doing everything I need to be doing to give you what you want, honestly, I deserve sex. Maybe not twice a day, maybe not every day, but when I want it, which is most days. I know you're busy or tired or not feeling it or whatever, but sometimes those are just excuses because you want to do something else. I think a man deserves sex if he is doing the things you ask him to do. Simple guys, simple needs. This seems like a simple arrangement for a healthy relationship.
Ooh, an arrangement.
Quid pro quo.
We're familiar with those.
See, if he phrased this to her or us in a way that left the word out, deserve. If he's just like, I want sex or I need sex, even if I said I earned sex, which is possible. I mean, sex should never be a reward or a referendum on anything. It shouldn't be. But he's just like, because I do this, my A plus B equals your C.
I've had this exact conversation.
Well, that's why you're here.
I've had this exact conversation with a past relationship, and it went, after all I've done for you, don't you think I deserve this? You know how that went over?
I mean,
like a lead balloon.
Right. After all I've done for you. So sometimes they don't think that means that. It might mean like, I will bake you brownies because you did that. What people don't like with deserve is you determining the prize. Is that right? Lily, if a man said that to you, like, I took you to dinner, I deserve some fondling.
Well, I don't know if it's deserve. Men need sex. And women have to realize that. If you're not keeping your man happy, he's going to find his happiness somewhere else. So it's not so much that they deserve it. You have to recognize and acknowledge that they need it. Sometimes they deserve it. Sometimes they don't, but they always need it.
So how should he say this to her? Because I think if you use the word deserve, it's very privileged and entitled, and they don't like that. This is what I want from you. This is what I need. Like, what? How would you go about this? If he's like, listen, I did this, and this. I did everything you want me to do. I love you, blah, blah, blah. But what?
I don't think you should even have that conversation. I think you should wine her and dine her, and maybe you're going to get to 69 her.
What happens if it doesn't?
Yeah, that's what he's getting at. He's tried. The bottom line is she probably doesn't either life. And again, this changes over time too. Sometimes the women's sexual drive is off the charts at 48. You never know. She might just not want sex most days. And you have to understand that. Yeah. And so I don't think there's anything worse, and I'm speaking for me here, than wanting to have sex with somebody who's doing you a favor or a reward, or this is just, I'm just going to lay here and you do whatever you do. I think that is not good, but I'm not Ben from Huntington Beach. Surf's up in Huntington Beach. So I don't know what he wants in return, if he just wants the favor sex. I don't know.
Get you a sex doll, Ben. If you need sex on demand.
It's not the same.
No, well, but seriously.
This is a deeper problem in the relationship.
She has to be in the mood. You got to do something to get her in the mood. You can't just say.
This is a problem that happens to a lot of couples that have been together a while.
Yeah.
It's an age-old problem.
It is an age-old problem. I don't think putting the word deserve into this is going to help your cause in any way. Because what you're saying by doing that is, I did these things only because I was hopeful for the reward at the end. And that's not exactly the most generous way to do it. She'd be like, I do it because I care about you and I love you, and you hope that the tennis ball hit back to you is, nudie time.
Yeah.
But I don't have a lot of sympathy for him on this. I just think he's got to find a new girl.
Yeah.
Right? There's some.
I mean,
I think he needs a different approach. I mean,
yeah, his approach is deserved. Be like, listen, you know what really does it for me when I take out the garbage? Nudity. You know, he's got to make it a little more playful and a little bit just like, this is my simple needs. I only ask for one thing. I think you have to take it on a little bit deeper level from that, right?
yeah, I don't know if this will work, but the quickest way to gain a girl's attention is to remove yours.
Oh, there you go. Put that on a business card. Is that true, Lily?
Yes.
I mean, I think it is. I think that makes sense.
You know what? It's not true for me because I'm an attention whore.
Oh, yeah?
I love attention.
When your little old man doesn't contact you for 2 weeks, what do you say? Oh my God, what happened to my little old man? I've been wondering about him. Before, you didn't even think about him until he removed his attention from you.
Phantom pains.
I still very rarely think of him except
Yeah, but I've heard those words out of your
wondering
mouth.
if he's still alive
Well, see?
and living his best life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew this girl like 25 years ago. I would pay tons of attention to her. She paid no attention to me. And then she saw me talking to her friend one night and she's like, wait, that's the guy who pays attention to me. And she totally flipped out and got jealous. I think there's a lot of merit to that. So if you're telling him, Ben, just don't bring it up or don't try, she might just be like, relief. Or she might have been like, uh-oh, he's going to find it somewhere else. Maybe that's the trigger.
Yeah, why is he stopped?
Yeah. But then you're taking the element of deserve out too. Anyway, complicated one, Ben. I think your approach is a little too caveman-y on this kind of thing. I think you have to be a little bit sweeter with your approach other than these are my primal urges. You know, I don't know. Take her shopping, see how it works.
Be affectionate.
Yeah, be affectionate.
Compliment her.
Yeah, maybe hold her hand. Go a little bit south of sex, a little bit less. Okay. This is from Margarita via our Facebook page. What do I deserve? I deserve your attention, to listen to me, to hear me out, to empathize with me, to try to understand me and what I'm going through, whether it is good or bad. Forget about you for 5 minutes and focus on me. We spend plenty of time on you and on us and on others, but sometimes when I really need it, I deserve your full attention on me, mentally, physically, emotionally. Is that too much? I think that's what every woman deserves. Fair?
Well, the way you read it, she was ranting.
I think she's had it with us generally. I can kind of speak to this because I years ago I was directing this play and I had a huge female cast in it, and my girlfriend was like, "Listen, I don't care. I don't think you're like them. I don't think you're spending time with them. I don't know whatever, but you are giving them mental energy and attention that by the time you get home from rehearsal or whatever it is, like you're just done because you've used up all your chick energy on a dozen other people that has nothing to do with us. I deserve that as your girlfriend." And she was 100% right. And at the time I was like, I cannot talk to one more chick. I can't hear one more complaint. I couldn't. I wasted all of the bandwidth that she was entitled to on people who were not part of our relationship professionally. And that was a bad deal for her. And I thought she did deserve better.
Yeah, I've been there too. I've been where I was stretching myself too thin and I would just come home and I would just zone out. That definitely happened in my marriage.
Yeah. But the question is, how do you, when you lecture, all of this is about approach. And when you lecture somebody, like, you need to pay attention to me and listen to me, and he's got either one eye on the game or one eye on work or whatever his thing is. And some people just aren't good listeners. You know, we've said on this podcast before, it's not that she wants to be right. It's that she wants to be heard. And sometimes just standing there can be enough. You fake it till you make it on this, Marguerite boyfriends or lovers. I think you do have to figure out a way to compartmentalize your attention so that for X amount of time, I'm looking you in the eye and I'm here for you. Easier said than done.
What do you think, Marcus?
Well, relationships take work.
And communication.
The problem is 98% of people don't do any work. And they don't understand relationships. And I think if they just took a few minutes just to even go to YouTube or some kind of a source on the internet, type in some of the feelings that are being expressed, they're going to find a really nice solution that will be amicable to both.
And just being present while she's talking sometimes isn't enough. Yeah. And a lot of times we're just like, I listened to you, I heard you, but if she ever said the God forbid, she goes, then what did I just say?
Oh,
Which we've all been busted on a million
I
times.
do that to Marcus all the time at work. Like,
I know. You're not listening to me. Like, it's really hard to be present in a distracted world, even for our own purposes, to try and be present for somebody else. I think we all deserve that, though, from somebody who is with us and caring about us in a relationship, that for whatever time we need, I need you to be there for me in a moment or in an hour or whatever it is. I think we do have I think she's right. I think we all deserve that.
yeah, I do too.
It's not too much. Marcus is like,
Apologies. Apologies to anyone I ever tuned out, because I'm not a great listener.
the crazy thing is I'm just having flashbacks of my marriage. It's not so much in my current relationships, but in my past marriage, everything we're talking about hits home.
Well,
All these
currently,
issues.
you are very good at tuning out your work wife.
Is this the time or place?
He's on the computer.
yeah, I mean, it's hard.
Saying something, and he's just kind of nodding, and I'm like, "What did I say?" I have no idea.
So I don't do video on this podcast. I know you guys bitch about it all the time, but Lily, can you describe this gesture that I'm making with my hand right now?
Talk.
Right. So
blah,
one
blah,
time
blah.
I had a girlfriend and she was talking. I wasn't really paying attention. And she's like, you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. And I did the little thing with my
shit.
hand.
Yeah. Smart
I've never
move.
deserved to be hit before.
You deserved it.
She hit me so hard in the back of the head, and I never would do that again. I just did the
wow.
this is what's happening, and it was like the gum flapping thing. So bad. Again, like 32-year-old Brian needed a good hitting in the head, and she was right. I think about things all the time. In my doing the worth and in my growth, like what did I do that they deserved more? They definitely deserve my attention. They definitely deserve to be heard. And they definitely deserve, like, this is important to me and you have to recognize that, even if it's not important to you. I think this works both ways, Marguerite. I'm sure you haven't been perfect on this either. We all deserve to have the other person's thoughts or feelings or circumstances be recognized by the room. Yeah.
Even if you don't agree, just say,
even if you don't agree,
I understand where you're coming from. I don't necessarily agree with you.
I know. Yeah, see, that's when we get in trouble. So I see your perspective. I could see how you feel that way. That's dangerous too. None of us are real
that's
smooth
true.
on that. So you got to be like, I hear you and I understand you, and I think that's all they really want to know is that you're hearing, and I think she deserves that, and I think we all do deserve that. Okay. This next one is from Buck. Buck. That's a cool name. So I went to a restaurant the other day, and the hostess goes, can I have a good name? And I'm like, Snoop? Like, rather than give her my name, she wanted a good name. And I was trying to think, like, what's a good name to just give so they shout it out the restaurant when your table's ready? I've been thinking about that for us. Send me submissions on that. Might be Snoop. Might be The Rock. All right, this is from Buck, which is a good name, from Altoona, Pennsylvania. I deserve time. Seriously, I've been dating this woman for about 3 months as of this writing. She gave me full attention in almost every night when we initially started seeing each other. Then we decided to be exclusive. Suddenly, she can no longer get a babysitter. Her custody situation shifted. She told me it was an equal split when we started, and now she seems to be unavailable unless I want to come over and hang out with her and her 7-year-old son who acts like a 4-year-old. I understand she has challenges with him and her ex, but that didn't seem to be an issue for the first 8 weeks or so, and now suddenly she has no time for me but insists that she cares about me and wants it to work. Well, then make time. I deserve time. We've heard versions
Dear
of this
God.
before where early on,
This relationship is doomed. If
you think it's doomed?
I think it's doomed.
See, I'm a little more hopeful than you. I tell, because we have a lot of single...
No, you want to bitch about a chick's kid, your relationship is doomed. If you can't accept the kid...
I don't think he's explaining the kid. I don't know if he's bitching about the kid.
He is bitching. He said her 7-year-old acts 4.
Well, that might just be a fact. That just might be his perspective.
He doesn't like
a
the
lot of
kid.
people. I tell people that we get a lot of single parents who write into the Great Love Debate or they come to our shows or whatever, and they're always like, "I have, 5 days a month where I'm fully available or whatever, who's going to sign up for that? And I always tell them the same thing. I go, you have to paint a picture as to your availability, and you have to be honest about that. So if you only have 1 day a month, and that 1 day is going to blow your mind or whatever, and it's consistent. What happened here is, I think she painted this picture for him until she got him to say, "You're my boyfriend," and now she bait and switched him.
Yeah. That's definitely the problem. He became less of a priority.
Yeah, because she's like, okay, I locked that part
Right.
of my life down.
Yeah. So now we're dealing with some issues.
You went right to the mom part of it,
Well,
the idiot kid.
I'm very maternal, and if someone doesn't like my kid, then we shouldn't be dating.
Maybe he's putting his emotions, if he saw her or was able to get to know her, or it sounds like the only time he can see her is when the kid's around, so he's resenting the kid. Maybe he's interpreting the kid as being a 4-year-old when maybe the kid acts like a 2-year-old. I don't know. I get his perspective. Let's just take the kid out of it for a second.
You can't take the kid out of the equation.
So maternal.
Okay, let's adopt the kid out.
No, you can't say that. I'm just saying
Let's murder the child.
she gave
dear.
him time early. That seems a little dishonest if suddenly, like, now she's never available, but she still wants. So it's not like she's using the kid and saying, I'm not available, I have to focus on my kid, which a lot of people do. They're in it 2 months and they're like, sorry, I can't do this. She's like, you're my boyfriend, hang out here while I raise my kid for the next 9 years. That doesn't seem good. So what does he deserve in this situation?
They need to talk about it, and they need to establish
Yeah, there needs to be a serious talk because
boundaries,
it's very
I guess.
obvious he has become less of a priority.
He
And
is.
in the beginning, he was.
Right.
And so he's feeling it. And now there's going to be a lot of tension in this relationship.
Yeah, I don't think he's saying I deserve more time than a relationship. I deserve, and I don't even think he can go back and say I deserve the same time as when we started, because you have to be cognizant of the fact that something could change. But he's like, if I'm going to be in a relationship with you, I deserve some me and you time, and you're going to have to figure out a way to work that out. And if she comes back to them like going through a time, hanging with me for, X amount of weeks, months, or whatever, and this is important to me or whatever, most people would be reasonable with that. That's her recognizing that it's an issue for him and rewarding him, hopefully, for being patient with her scenario. Is that reasonable, or you're still checked out because he criticized the kid?
Here's the deal. Can we get Buck on the phone?
Probably not.
I need to know, Buck.
What are the questions for Buck?
Does it have to be alone time? Or can we include the kid? Can we do some fun adventures with the kid? You get to know the kids. You might really...
So it's just Chuck E. Cheese dates?
No, not just, but can we...
Well, he said that...
Is he getting 0 alone time
he
with her?
says she seems to be unavailable unless I want to come over and hang out with her and her 7-year-old son.
Oh.
So it is a challenge to get a sitter. That's another trickle down in modern America where nobody wants to work. The girls don't want to do that anymore.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Okay, what if he says, I'll get you a sitter? Does the man have the right to hire a sitter?
I've been through this scenario. I've dated plenty of single moms, and they had these challenges, and I struggled with it because I needed my alone time with her.
Wow.
And these kids kept getting in the way, and it was very, very frustrating. And,
Right.
and yes, we went on care.com, we went on other sources, and I would find babysitters. The problem is she was so critical of every single babysitter.
Right, and you don't want to get a situation where you hired the wrong babysitter.
Yeah.
But if it's a financial thing where she's just like, and he's like, would you be offended if I said that? Listen, I'll hire a sitter and pay for it.
I would not be offended. I think date night is extremely important. Their relationship's not going to grow if they have 0 alone time.
I deserve date night. That's reasonable, right?
The hard part is he got spoiled when he was seeing her every night.
Yeah.
And now suddenly it's...
I mean, is this one of these things? Sometimes people do. I'll say people, because if I say women, they get mad. I just want to check off the box that I do have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, so I don't have to worry about it, and then I'll focus on with them. And a lot of I said this on a podcast about 2 years ago. People freaked out, but I always wondered why so many women jump to marry the military guys. Because a lot of times they marry and they're gone for like 2 years, and they kind of know that going in. The answer I've gotten, which get people pissed off when I say this, is They check the box off. I have the husband. I'm living there. I'm raising the kid, whatever. I don't care that much about the time. I'll get to that down the road because I think it's strange. If I'm marrying somebody, I want to spend all the time with them.
Right. I'm the same way. I am a time digger. I want copious amounts of your time. So I'm kind of like Buck.
Right. But you're also like kid comes first, which it should.
Yes. Agreed.
And I can't say, oh my God, I can't deal with you and the kid because he acts like an idiot. He probably is not at that point he's not co-parenting.
I did date when I was a single mom, but it always had to be someone who was very accepting of my child.
When do you bring the child into it? Because this seems pretty quick. The child, like how quick were you on that?
Yeah.
You know, that's risky too. Because you don't want mom just bringing around new dudes all the time, especially the 7-year-old. They don't want that either. That's the tricky thing. The only way to include him is to include him with the kid, but it doesn't sound like this relationship is stable enough that should even be this little family element.
And maybe she is one of those women, and they're out there. My best friend is like this. She loves her alone time. She adores her family, but she loves her alone time. And she's so happy when they go off hunting or they go to a sporting event and she gets to sit home and drink wine and read
that's
her
a pretty
book.
good segue because I took a sneak peek at our next one. Similar theme. I got to take a quick break because we have to pay for babysitters and stuff around here. I'm with Lily and Marcus from Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. We're talking about what we all deserve, and we will be back right after this. And we are back. And the next one is MJ from Flavortown. So Flavortown's a real thing?
I want to visit Flavortown.
That's not just a Guy Fieri invention. MJ from Flavortown. Okay.
What state's that in?
Yeah.
Doesn't say. It just says MJ from Flavortown. Is in the email.
Do they make taffy?
I don't know. It sounds good. Taffy's very underrated.
I'm Googling it.
Okay. If you are going to go out with your friends or your coworkers, not tell me where, not tell me with whom, not tell me why. You know what I deserve? I deserve answers. That doesn't make me needy and it doesn't make me nosy. It's about respect. How many golf tournaments and work conferences and boys' weekends without details should I put up with? I had this issue with both of my last 2 boyfriends who complained I was badgering them when I simply asked questions. I think my questions absolutely deserved answers then, and they deserve answers now.
I 100% agree.
I 100% agree.
Because the problem is you start filling in the blanks with your own story. And that story can get crazy and very creative. And once you know the truth, you're like, oh, that's not at all what I imagined what was going on.
Right. And unless he's just fucking with her and just everything is none of your business, there's no answer, if it's a reasonable answer, that you shouldn't be able to give her unless there's an answer you don't want her to know. Mm-hmm. If you're not doing anything bad and she's just asking, what are you doing, who are you with? Maybe you're defensive for whatever reason, but I think she has every right to ask what you're doing and spending your time with and who you're spending your time with.
Yeah.
Lily?
Now, go ahead, Lily.
I wasn't listening. I'm trying to figure
That's
out where
it.
Flavortown is.
All right, priorities.
Welcome
All right, anyway,
to my nightmare.
can you pay attention for 30 seconds here? See, that's the problem. I deserve your attention and I deserve answers.
I think Flavortown is in the ruins of Lower Manhattan, just south of the Hive.
Okay, well, there you go.
That does not
Thanks,
sound.
Lily.
That
Okay.
doesn't sound real.
That doesn't sound. Okay, so
no,
she says that the boyfriend, the last 2 boyfriends she's had have had these nebulous plans all the time, and she asks what they are and who she's with and where she's going, and he doesn't give the answers, and she says she deserves answers, and Marcus and I both agree she absolutely deserves answers. It's very reasonable.
I agree with both of you.
And I don't think the answers are just the who, what, where, when. I also think the answer is the why. Why do you do this all the time? Why are you going to bachelor parties all the time? Why are you going on golf trips to Nova Scotia? Like, why? I am in a relationship with you. Why are you constantly doing this? And why are you choosing them? I think you absolutely deserve that answer.
I've had, I can equate this. I've had many exclusive relationships and I've had a few open relationships, which is kind of a new animal to me. What makes the open relationships work is telling me who you're going out with, where you're going, why you're doing, and different things. Now I'm not filling in the blanks.
I know, but none of those are good. There's no answer that's going to make me feel better in an open relationship.
Actually, have you been in one?
No.
It does.
I know. I
the
think
communication is very, very important.
it is, but the answers aren't going to make me feel better. You know, I'm going out with this guy. Mm-hmm. That's not going to make me feel better. It's the same. It's getting the bad answer instead of what I'm wondering. If you're telling me flat out, here's what I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to Hawaii with this other guy.
I would rather know.
I don't want to be in an open relationship. I think but that's not for me, though. A lot of people are like,
yeah, but he's having basically an open relationship with his boys.
Yeah.
Although it's not sexual, it's still a relationship.
Well, here's the qualifier on this. You said both of your last two boyfriends have done this. Mm. That's when I think you have to look in the mirror of like, what are you doing to drive these guys away every Friday night? Am I blaming the messenger?
Or she just has a pattern of dating playboys that want to play with their friends and not spend time with her.
Yeah. How old are these guys? And it shouldn't even be age, because a lot of times, you know, a guy could be 52, but he was married for 25 years and now he wants his freedom. And a lot of times the guy's 25 and he's just like, this is what I do. I've had that. I had a girlfriend once. I remember saying, this is all therapy for me to do this. I remember saying to her, like, 3 days a week is plenty. That's the max. That's all I can give to this relationship. And at the time, she was horrified at it. And it wasn't much that I said that, because it was kind of an honest thing to say. It was like, there's no circumstance where I would want to spend any more time than that with you. And that's how she interpreted it. And that's probably right. And that sucked. That probably sucked to hear. I was like, I should just date a pilot because they're only around once in a while. Like, that sucks. You want to be with somebody who wants to be with you more than the work conferences and more than the bachelor parties, more than the golf weekends. And if she ran to 2 in a row of those, either what you're saying is she's picking these kind of guys, or there's something about her that they're like, I'd rather do anything than hang out with her.
Well, I mean, learning from the age-old book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, you've got to let them pull away and do their thing so they can snap back. If they never have the opportunity to pull away, they can't snap back. And it just strengthens the relationship, actually, in the end.
Yeah, and I think if you're asking, you do deserve answers, MJ from Flavortown. But you also have to learn to not ask them in an accusatory way, because maybe you are asking and maybe he's answering and the answer is insufficient for you, and you ask a follow-up question that feels like he's doing something wrong when he's like, I'm really just going to a conference in Toledo, Ohio. You know, that you got to look into that too. Then he just feels badgered and then he tunes you out. And then we get it back to where we were, like, you deserve answers. I gave you answers and you didn't like the answers. Mm-hmm. That's possible too.
You got to find the person that's a right fit, that if they like their alone time, you need to also be a person that likes your alone time. If you love copious amounts of time together, you need to find a person that is good with that and wants the same thing. You can't have a time digger and a loner in a successful relationship, I don't think.
Well, that's true. She's not even saying that she's asking for him to spend more time with her.
It's just all
she's saying she wants the answers because the answers are playing games in her head.
It's communication. And she's just having to make up she's having to fill in the blanks.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And she needs the blanks filled in for her to make her feel better.
The next one is from Caroline, who sent this via Instagram. Are you asking what I want or what I deserve? I think the answers are the same. Money. I deserve money to be spent on me, to do fun things. I do everything you want in a relationship when I'm into you, and I mean everything. You can call it gifts or rewards or simply me being pampered, but that is absolutely what I deserve. Your money. You aren't paying me to be an amazing girlfriend. You are rewarding me. Everything I do is to make you happy, and I deserve what I want in return. And the trips, the treatments, the lifestyle, that involves money. I'm honest about it. You don't have to give me cash. Just cover the bills or give me your American Express card. Trust me, it's worth it because I'm worth it.
What pool is she fishing in?
Well, this is more your guys' expertise
right
on this.
Down our alley.
Right up our alley.
But I don't think this is exclusive to the sugar baby world either. I could see a lot of people are like, listen, my currency, no pun, is when I do things for you and I feel amazing, I want to treat myself or feel good. Like, I don't think she's necessarily some gold digging whore here. I think she's just like,
I get it.
Money is her thing that matters to her. That's her love language.
But is
20s.
She with somebody that can afford that lifestyle? See, first of all, you got to make sure that is in place.
Well, I don't even know how expensive this lifestyle is. So this could, I mean, we could be like, amazing. I just need ice cream. I mean, I don't know.
From what I heard,
Yeah, you interpret it as this is expensive. Like, what is your estimate on what this costs?
at least $5-6 a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's like, if I'm an amazing girlfriend, I want $60,000 annual stipend as a reward for this. Not unreasonable. Lily?
I don't think it's unreasonable.
Of course you don't.
I'm actually okay with. I'm actually like, listen, this is the quid pro quo. I will blow your mind, so to speak. I will be amazing, and this is what I need to feel appreciated and loved. This is my payback to me. This could work. I think of all of the ones we got in for, I'm like, oh, I see this. Somebody who now the challenge from her, Caroline, is to be like, I'm not only with you for the money, but he has to be like, I'm not only with you for whatever it is you're doing either. That's always the hard thing. That's communication too, right?
Right. I wonder how long they've been together. That's another kind of factor that would play into it.
Now, we've had this discussion with you guys on the podcast before. I think that the problem in the sugar world, is that the technical term? Is that the legal term? The sugar world?
Sugar bowl.
Compensated
In the
dating.
sugar bowl is that I think eventually what you're paying for is her to like you.
Initially.
No, you think initially?
You can't buy chemistry.
Nope.
Oh, I thought initially you're paying for the time, however you want to interpret that.
Yeah, you're bribing them
and then
to give you an opportunity.
You're paying for the audition.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Which is fine. It's why I'm okay with people lying on their resume, because you're basically trying to get the audition. I'm fine with that.
Right.
If you're wanting the opportunity, you're paying for the opportunity. You're not paying just for sex. You're not paying her to leave, the old line on that. You're paying for this. But eventually what you're paying for is you're paying for affection that is not being expressed any other way. And if the money is the commodity, that's sometimes a dangerous road to go down, because you're pretending it's this and it's really that. Does that make sense?
There's a lot of role playing.
There is a lot of role playing. So how does that make, because there is a lot of role playing, but you guys, you all sugar people,
Sometimes we're good with role playing.
I know, but you guys are usually saying it's a more honest scenario.
It is.
How is it if there's a lot of role playing?
If it's not a role play?
No, if there's a lot of role playing going on, that seems dishonest at its core. The role I'm playing is somebody who cares about you.
Yeah. Well, you got to decide what you're looking for. Everybody is very unique, has different wants and needs. And so if you're looking for somebody to have chemistry with and somebody to accompany you to concerts and dinners and great nights out, a lot of fun, at the end of the night, you go your way, I go mine. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of
But who wants that?
Who wants that?
Yeah.
A lot of men want that.
Because they don't trust that she's going to, they don't trust her legitimate affection. They're like, if I do that and I sort of put these emotional barriers up, at the end of the night, she goes her way, then I'm not going to get hurt. Well, I think you want her to come home.
The thing it does is it takes the pressure off of a relationship initially. And then as you spend more time together and you really start enjoying each other, that actually grows organically. And then the relationship can become very strong, even though it was a bribe to get her to even go out with you in the first place.
Well, there was, did you guys watch Succession?
No.
Did you?
Mm-mm.
Well, there's a relationship in the show that is like this. It started out that way, and to her, it was always that way. And whatever, it's probably the most honest relationship in the show. For those of you who do watch, it's Connor and Willa. Like, they did find their happy medium into this, and it did sort of work out in a relationship because she was really always pretty clear of what it was, but then the comfort level of the understanding translated into some level of affection, which is possible. Like, we're comfortable with what we have, and what we have matters to me, so that means something to me. Is that possible?
Yeah, I'm a testament to that theory.
Which is what? Keep the checks coming and I'll like you?
No, my current boyfriend started out as a sugar daddy, and we fell in love. And
oh, what an old-fashioned love story.
It's actually very
I know. So wait, so what?
It can morph into that.
I agree.
I adore him.
So what?
Initially, he had to bribe me to go out with him. And the more I got to know him, he just grew on me.
We all love him. I mean, he's
Does the money
fantastic.
stop then?
No. But But I mean, in any relationship,
What is the conversation then? How does he trust the conversation? How does he trust, like, if
Through
you're
her
just
actions.
like, listen, I
Oh,
actually
it's-
like you now.
it's obvious.
Yeah, her actions prove that. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
is there a moment? Is there a light bulb that's like, actually, oh my God, this is so weird. I think I have feelings for him.
Yeah.
What was there one?
Yes.
And what did you say? I know this is hard to believe, but
it's an interesting story. So he and I started dating back in March, and I was dating several gentlemen. I wasn't exclusive with anyone, and one of my sugar daddies took me to Europe for 3 weeks, and I missed him. I was like,
so a primal emotion missing. That's a real thing.
I realized how much he had grown on me because I was keeping my distance. I was protecting my heart. I was, trying to make sure I held out for my person.
Mm-hmm.
And it took being away from him on a vacation, a wonderful vacation with someone else, for me to realize, damn, I really like this guy. Like, he's
Yeah, I mean, I guess
checking
it's
my
no.
boxes.
I guess it's no different from two people who started out as friends and then realized they had something else going on. I guess that makes sense. You
Yeah.
checked your boxes. There you go.
I think he's my person so far.
And what's really
And today,
And
interesting
and
about
he
it-
can afford the treatments.
Wednesday, it'll be 7 months
Yeah.
we've been dating.
And I went with them on really their first date. We double dated, and I didn't see any chemistry or connection there, but he was such a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started accompanying us in more and more events. We started doing things more together, and we all really grew to like this guy.
Yeah.
Like genuine love for this gentleman. But it all started out as, I'm bribing you to go out with me.
I met him on a sugar site.
Yeah.
I see that too. I've told some of the dating sites. The issue with the apps, here's some free advice. Here's $1 billion idea for you web app people. The issue with the apps not working is that the women are not really giving 99% of the guys the fair shot. And I think if there was a way to compensate conversation or compensate reaction or whatever, like if I talk to this guy 8 back and forths, I'm going to get a $20 gift card or something like that. The women will stick around long enough if you gamify it for them, and where the guy's going to at least get the shot to answer it, because you guys aren't answering anything. So if he's just like, if she would just give me, 10 sentences of conversation, I think she will understand me and do that. I think the winner of the dating app future is the one who incentivizes them, probably monetarily, to give these guys a shot.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. That's what forced me to look for some kind of a sugar daddy site or a compensated dating site, because I was getting nowhere.
Yeah.
Because I'm battling sometimes 7-1, 8-1 odds on Tinder and Bumble.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, and I hear from the girls, and they've actually showed me how many likes they have. And this one girl the other day showed me she has 4,900 on Bumble.
Yeah.
How do I get through that noise?
I know. And some girl, if you're attractive, like if you go on, Lily, if you go on one of these sites, you're on Bumble, you know that every guy, as long as he sees you, is probably going to swipe on you. That's a huge advantage you have.
Well, not every guy.
Which means that it's not as special to her, because she's like, of course every guy's going to match with me. To him, he feels it a little more precious. He takes it more seriously. It's different. All right. Well, you are worth it, and we're kind of in favor of him giving you the American Express card. I'm fine with this, Caroline. All right, last one.
I have an American Express card.
Of his?
Unlimited.
Unlimited?
Yeah.
Have you put that to the limit? Have you tested it?
No.
Just do whatever you want?
I'm a very practical and rational girl, but I do.
If you get gas, it goes on that?
Yeah.
All right. Buy me
Pretty
ice cream.
much everything goes on that.
It's real nice.
See, that actually
my
does
nails,
seem fun.
my hair.
Okay.
But I'm trying to look beautiful for him.
There
so
you go. And if he knows that this
He
is
knows.
for me, the nails are for me, I think we're all willing to pay. Okay. Last one. Cameron from Wilmington, North Carolina, which is very nice. Have you been there? Wilmington's lovely.
I have never
Outer Banks kind
been
of thing?
to the state of North Carolina.
Okay. Well, put it on the MX. Take a trip. You can fly into Raleigh and drive.
A girl's trip.
Okay. This is from Cameron. You know what guys deserve? Appreciation. all the things you say we should do for you, we do them. We want you to acknowledge them. Say thank you. Act like it matters. Act like you notice and care. If you give me a list of things you want from me or want me to do, and I do them all, including hang out with your annoying cousin, then I think I deserve some thanks. It's really the simplest possible thing. Hey, I know you don't like doing that, but you did it anyway, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Should I deserve that? Instead, you give me, that's what a boyfriend should do. Well, a girlfriend should say thank you. Anyway, I love the show. Thank you for doing that. See, is that so hard?
It reminds me, there's this great video on Instagram and YouTube, and it's a boyfriend, and the girl's unwrapping presents. And she's got a whole bunch of boxes in front of her. And as she unwraps it, she pulls out a paper, and it says rent. And he goes, there you go. I paid your rent for the entire year. And then she opens another box, car payment. And there you go. I paid your car so you and your bald-headed friends could go to the wig shop all year long.
Right.
And she's looking at like, why aren't all these expensive gifts in here that I want for Christmas? And he was so proud.
He doesn't pay attention to those. She wants other things.
He just felt like he wasn't getting the appreciation for all the things that he'd done for her all year long.
I'm telling you, you have to have an attitude of gratitude.
Oh,
Your
you do.
partner needs to know that you appreciate the big things and the little things.
Totally agree. And the routine things. So just because you're together, the fundamentals in a relationship, thank you, please, I'm sorry, these little words are what separates a working relationship from a non-working relationship. They're so vital. And if she's just like, well, I appreciate you because I'm with you.
No.
It's not enough, and it doesn't mean he's needy, that he needs please and thank you.
You got to say it.
You got to say it, because then it's not taken for granted, and he needs to say it too. And he needs to, if he's in a position like having to point out everything he did for you all the time, including hanging out with your annoying cousin, he deserves some acknowledgement, whatever the word you want to use, but flat out, thank you. This sucked for me. I did it anyway. He shouldn't have to say that. You should know it sucked for him and say you did it anyway, right?
I agree. Absolutely.
There's love languages that always come up on this show. Overwhelming majority of men, their love language is not physical touch, even though women think it is. It's words of affirmation.
Yes.
And a lot of times the women are like, oh, he knows I'm here. He takes it for granted. Of course he understands. What do you think I'm doing with you? Like all that. We need the actual words. Sorry. You go back to the guy who wrote earlier, we're simple needs, simple creatures. I need that. I personally need that. I need thank you. I need please. I need I'm sorry. I need all of those. Right?
Well, and I'm the girl that I love to give compliments to my man. And it's funny because I'm thinking a lot of women aren't very complimentary because
Your
it
American
always
Express card is so big and heavy.
it makes them squirm though. Like I've been with men who just like they don't know how to take a compliment.
Well, we don't get them. I always say we think you think we're gross as guys. We just do.
Most guys are gross.
Most guys, I agree with you on that too. But it's very, very rare. No matter who you could be George Clooney. You're probably not on a day-to-day basis getting a physical compliment or even the appreciation. You're getting it even for strangers every time you leave the house, probably in some way. And some women are like, "Why are you so needy? Why do you need validation, boys? You're so insecure or whatever." I don't know. We are. So
You deserve validation.
I think so.
That'd be nice every now and then.
We want to be admired. We want to be appreciated. We want to be respected. We want to be needed. We want to be all these things. I think that's what we deserve if we do the things that you ask us to do too.
Marcus, you're so handsome and intelligent.
Oh, you're going to talk to me about that raise again, aren't you?
He deserved the compliment. You deserve compensation. That works. All right. So you just said this is your first time on the show. So, which I find hard to believe, but I guess I've been on your show. So, we play something called worst date or first date. So you have to give us either the absolute worst date you've ever been on or the greatest first date you've been on, your choice.
Oh, dear God. I've had so many awful dates. One of the worst ones was the time that I met a guy on an online sugar site, and we had never met in person. We had never talked, but we were just going to get together for a quick lunch. I call him the Ponderosa pine tree because he was massive. In his one or two photos online, apparently there were only face photos. I had no idea. This guy was ginormous. And I sit across from him at lunch and I'm like, whatever, it's fine. We'll have a nice lunch. We'll have a nice conversation. He didn't talk. I could get one word responses from him.
Because he was chewing?
I'm trying to ask partially. I'm trying to ask open-ended questions.
And Lily's a great conversationalist.
I'm trying to elicit something from him. He really just, I don't know if he was nervous. I don't know if he was shy, but it was like talking to a tree.
Maybe he was nervous.
And even better, so I'm kind of a small eater. Well, I said, do you want to share something? No, I don't want to share. I'm like, okay. So we ordered 2 separate entrees. He finished his entire meal and I couldn't finish mine. It was obvious I was done. And he was like, do you mind if I finish that for you?
Yeah.
And he finished my entire meal. It was just awkward.
How did it
I
end?
would do that. Yeah, good. That's familiar. I think that's... Are you offended by that?
I just thought it was a weird thing to do on a first date, on a first meet and greet, to gobble down your meal, not be conversational.
I want to know how you ended it.
You know, he walked me out to my car and said, we should do this again. And I said, I don't think we should do this again. And that was the end of that.
Okay.
You just told him right then and there.
Did he ask if you wanted to see a dessert menu?
No.
You want to do that? See, I don't think that's even a bad date. And a lot of women would be like, that's not so bad. Give me that guy's number, the big fella. He can eat my food. He can finish my salmon.
It wasn't even so much the fact that he was portly, but
the conversation
was awful.
Okay. Not to defend. First, is this a paid for date?
No.
This is a real date.
Well, it was a first
term?
meet and greet.
It was, we were just meeting to
He
determine.
may be nervous.
I think he was.
Well, is there a sweetness in that? Or you're just like, fuck it, I don't have time for this?
Well,
she didn't have time for it.
I just, if you cannot have a conversation with me, I'm pretty easy to talk to.
Well, there's 2 ways it can go on a date. Somebody shuts up because they're nervous, or somebody babbles on endlessly because they're nervous. Because once you get to know somebody, it rarely turns into that. Points for her nervousness. I think if he was fitter, you would have put up with all of those things.
I don't.
You would have said, "Finish my swordfish."
I don't think so.
Not a terrible date. Then. All right,
you can't buy chemistry.
You can't buy chemistry. You can't unless you've got a really unlimited American Express card. All right, tell everybody where they can find your podcast.
Secrets of a Sugar Daddy on all podcast platforms. And hey, go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. You're going to see a button that says come party with us. We've got a big party we're throwing Thanksgiving weekend. So everybody should be off work and it's going to be beautiful.
You're tired of your family. You're tired of the idiot cousin.
Right? And it's going to be beautiful in Scottsdale, Arizona.
It sure is.
Let me tell you, November is a fantastic month. It's probably already snowing up north. So you want to come party with us and we have an entry there. We've got a few spots left. We'd love for you to enter.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I like that you guys are doing that.
Yeah.
As far as us, please like, share, follow, and review this podcast and review Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Your reviews still, after all this time, mean a lot in the podcasting ecosystem. Shoot us an email, greatlovedebate@gmail.com if you've got questions, thoughts, rebuttals, big American Express bills, or there's something that you feel you deserve. Maybe we'll do a part 2 of this because we did get a ton. I kind of just put this out kind of half-assed and didn't really think about it. People feel like they deserve a shitload of stuff. Because as always, at the Great Love Debate, we never stop making love. See you next time.